right, we're getting ready to go. We're going to go back into the ear canal of Zeranpin. So just make sure I know where we're at. That's not it. Okay, we're beginning on page Reish Ches, according to me. So it says, so let's go back inside of the ear of Zeranpin. On the side of one chamber of the one of the chambers of the comprise the mochim. Which hollow is it? Hollow moach abina. Beside small harosh, which is on the middle of the head. Excuse me, on the left side. Shuhu hollow hasheni b'shlosh chololem shalamochim. Chachma bina das. So it's the what he said. It's the second one, but starting with Chachma, then Bina. Shivarosh there anpin Italian udenim. Then the hair, the ears depend on this or hang from this. Bisham toluyim achaznayim ki ikur yenikas achaznayim hu mamuach abina. The fisha derek nekev shebachalo, because through that opening in this chamber, muach abina. Nosef tipos haor shal hashlosha mochem desochala oizen. This adds onto it, or drips, I'm sorry, a drops of light. He calls them drops of light. Shal hashlosha mochem desochala haoizen. So from the three mochim, he's saying that through the three mochim, from the moach which is bina, that's where the opening is. Umavara od, and it goes on and explains more. And from also we have now then the 50 gates that come out from this chamber. That open up, come out from the chamber of Bina. That's the first gate. So that opening in the hollow Bina, who shar echad min edu chachamishim shari Bina, so it's the first one. I'm thinking, of course, there's 49 others, so let's go on. The nage v'nafik, so it goes out, it goes out. Asher b'derek hashar nimshach v'yotze tipas or hamochim, because it's through this gate. This drop of light, these drops of light come out. It opens up it opens up the soch haneka ve'elyon shebepidimius oizen. Excuse me. It opens up inside of that opening. Now he says niftach l'soch. It goes. I guess it goes into the opening here, the nekeva echo shebepinimius oizen, inside of the ear. Meir born shines into it. It may be raya shemuach habina meir ba'oizen. Now he brings a proof that the muach habina shines into the ear. Dechsiv kizechu shekasav ki ozen milin tivchan. So the ear words are distinguished, are examined. Pirish she'ozen zer anpin bochin es hadiburim anishmoya besochos. So it actually examines, distinguishes between the words that are coming into the ear. Bein diber ra, the diber tov, whether or not the person actually speaks something bad or speaks something good. And in the ears has the ability to be able to distinguish between what is good and what is bad. Where does this ability of distinguishing come from? It comes from the muach habina. Maybe that the ability to be able to distinguish between good and bad. Nimshach bina comes from bina. So the power of distinguishing and examination comes from gam. Also comes from the heart. Because that he is able to examine the heart and the kidneys. He believes. So he says now, the power of discrimination, or the right word is distinguishing or examination, comes from, what is that? I just missed something. Who believes in the lave, the klayos, and in the kidneys. Behind the fisha muach. So that takes some explanation. First, he started off by saying bina, and then he moved to the heart. Now he moved to the kidneys. Behind the fisha muach bina bispashe gam belev, because the muach bina also spreads into the heart. Now extends into the heart. B'var in his pashtos muach bina belev. Now let's talk about that. He says the mesitra is pashtusa the haki chalolo the hamshim tari. Kimisad his pashtos moach abinda the zer anpin, from the side of actually a spread or the extension of the moach abinda and zer anpin. Hamaluvish b'chalo halo haniftach l'hamshim shari bina, which is clothed. Now let me say which a hamaluvash, which is clothed in this halo. So he's talking about the muach, which is inside of the challah, hamaluvish b'challah haniftach l'chamishim shari bina, which opens up into the 50 gates. Is pashtuch b'guf. It also actually spreads into the body, or extends into the body. B'sham cholkim ha'aras ha'chamishim shari bina, and from there is where the illumination of the 50 shari bina spread. Mispashtim the matach b'guf zer anpen, and they spread into the guf of zer anpen. Ba'asa the liba shari mispashtim haku chalolo dachamshim tirin. So you see, hinei b'makom shachalev shora beguf, in the place where you find the heart, which is in the chest, of course. Shu keneged achazet is zer anpin, which is opposite of the chest of zer anpin. Sham hu tchilas his pashtus edach hamishim sharin shebachalo muachabina. So then that's the place where the 50 gates start. Now we're talking about zer anpin now. So he says, and it's not clear to me. He just said that it spreads into the heart, or it extends down into the heart. It doesn't say how, because the bina is in the head. But I don't know. He said the influence of him trying to look for a good word. Anyway, let's go on. So this ability to be able to distinguish. Here he's talking about between good and bad. Beside hitzpashtus azo shal chamishim shari bina b'makom alev. So this whole process really goes into the heart, the ability to be able to distinguish right from wrong. A Messiah the buyer, and he concludes, and he explains Rayasa his proof. Shekoach ha'b'chana shal ozen zer anpin nimshach mikoach moachabina, that actually the ability that the heart has, well, the ear, he says, it has, really comes from the moachabina. V'amar v'ud nachakari bei bechina, that the ear itself is called examiner, or examination. Ki zecher shebetzida b'kasuf. So what we find in the pasuk, she'amar lashon bechina, heim ba'ozen zer anpin, is all talking about the bechina chavchona. The concept distinguishing is all in the ear of zer anpin, kamoshen emerki ozen milin tivchan, because the ears words are able to be distinguished. Ubaliba kari bechina, and the heart is called by the word bechina. So let me see what his words were. Ba'ozen zer anpin kamoshen emerki ozen milin tivchan. So the concept of bechina, of examination, v'hein belev zer anpin, or in the heart of zer anpin, he says believa kari bechina, that's where it's actually happening. Kamoshen ember b'boichen libos ukolayos, that he examines, or he distinguishes, uses them to separate out and distinguish one from the next. B'shum the me'aser echad mispashtim, because they're all extending out and spreading from one place. The kind of bina, that is bina, is this koach goes into the heart and the kidneys. So he explains that this is the start of where the extension, the mispasha, the arav, the koach of chana, that the power to be able to distinguish for both the heart and for the kidneys. Ki shar echad mahamishim shari bina, because one of the sharm of the 50 sharm of bina, mispashet ba'ozen, spreads into the ear. But the chidas his pashtos hamishim shari bina, but where you see the 50 gates start, shebeguf b'makom b'lev is in the heart. V'nimsa shecha ozen v'halev me'irim shnechem, both the ear and the heart, both of them shine mimuach habina ka'amor, from the muach habina, as we have said. So now it says Tana b'tzniusa de sifra. So he said Lamanda b'pirush sodos, the explanation of the secret shall shefer sifra of the sefer sifra de tzniusa. He said kama udnim da kama de udnim da avchan bein tav bein bish. Kamo she'ozen zu shal zer anpin mavchin bein tov bein ra. It's able to distinguish between the two opposites, good and bad. Hainu. One second. Hainu bein kol shal Torah of the tefillah shal b'nei Yisrael. That is, distinguish between the Torah and the tefillah of the Jews. Kolos al-choitim, and between, I guess, the voices of those who are off the derek, margizim klape mala, which cause anger going upwards. Lefi she'azne zer anpen kululos b'shtei habechinos heim tov v'ra. So this ability to distinguish, there is actually, I don't know what he means by it, it's incorporated with two different aspects. One is good and one is bad. Kach kola. Kach gam kol ha-sphiro shall zer anpen, all of the spheres are the same way. Kululas b'shnei tzadadim tov v'ra, they have a right side and a left side. Let's say they have these opposite things. All of the spheres, he says, of zer anpen are included in the two sides. The zer anpen is sitra de tav v'bish, because in zer anpen, that is the nature of zer anpen. He's composed of good and bad. The fish of a klal zer anpen, yesh shnei tzdadim tov v'ra, there are two different sides, one good, one bad. So he says what? He says shall shnei tzdadim be the fish of a klalos, in the general concept there. V'lekach gam mavchim osam zer anpen bein tov v'ra, so therefore he's able to distinguish between good and bad. Tov l'ra, yimina l'smola, rachme v'dina, in other words, opposites. Ki zer anpen yesh b'shnei bechinos yamin is small, because he always has a right side and a left side. Shehem rachamim bedin, which recommends rachamim and din. B'chatov v'harachamim kum bechinos yamin de zer anpen. So the good part we call, metaphorically, it's called the right side. V'hara v'chadinim kum bechinos small de zer anpen is on the left side. Avacha be'erik anpen yesh rak tov v'rachamim, but in erik anpen there's only good and mercy. That's in erik anpen, he's all white. Kihu kula be'bechinas yamin, he's all the concept of the right side. Ve'ein be'bechinas small klal, he has no left side aspect at all. V'amar v'hai uden l'chaklil b'mucha. Now let's hear this. He says that the v'zecha v'oizen, the ear itself, nechlalos im hamuach shezer anpen. So the ear is, I don't know what he means by incorporated into the moach of zer anpen. Mishum de iskala b'mocha b'chalolachat. Mishum she ha'oizen nechlal b'moach, because this concept that where he's saying is that the ear is incorporated in the moach, that, and he's been talking about bina. Derek chalo echad, and this is through the one of the chalolim, min shlosh chalol. So he's just saying that it is incorporated in some way into one of the three. The betipas or hamuach anofit toch oizen derek nekev shebachalol moach abina. So there is a drop of the hainu. He says al yedei tipas or hamoach anaitif. So there are drops of or that come out of the moach, which is going to be bina, betocha oizen, go into the ear. Derech nekev shebachala moach bina, through the opening, the hole that is in the chamber of bina. Like we said up above. Iskalil b'kala the aisle bang. V'chein gam nichlal ha'ozen b'kol ha'niknas b'moach bina. So therefore also the ear is incorporated in the moach itself of bina. Kehakol, because what happens is the voice ola goes up ad moach bina until it reaches the moach bina. And as a result of that, it's like a round-robin kind of process. So since it comes up into that, then the coal comes up into the bina, and then it shines back down meir ba'ozen into the ear. So therefore, it has to be that he says of a hechwach shall kol nichlal gam ba'ozen, that it's also part of the ear. Because why? He said because there's an illumination or a glow, drops of light that are coming into it, so it's like part of the whole process, I guess. And for the power of this incorporation into bina imamoach bina, because of the fact that the ozen or the moach itself is attached to the sound that's coming in, that moach has the ability to be mavchen bein tov v'ra. And so that's the source of that idea, and so therefore this is all going together. Commotion eba ozen milin tivchan, because that's the pasuk that the ear milin tivchan, it can distinguish between words. As we mentioned previously, ozen zer anpen mavchin bein ra latov, that is able to distinguish between bad and good. So let's move over here on page Reshu Daled, and it says So by the ear we have the concept of hearing. Now what does that mean? Because of lashon shmiya. Because why? The concept of hearing is in the ear, of course. Shmiya is kalo bina, and the concept of hearing, bina, is incorporated. The Lashon Shemiya and the Chlalas bina, there's where you see that bina is incorporated. Ki milvad mishmausa hapeshuta, besides the simple understanding of it, behind the Shmiyas hakol baznaim, that is, that hearing the words in the ears, the voice in the ears, kolalos gam mishmos havona. So now it also has a concept of understanding. Shema, that is Shema, that is the word Shema here, Kolomer Havein. So the word Shema, which is looks like a command, he says it's also saying the same thing, understand. Ki mila Shema mispareshes gam Havein. So it could also be understood. The word Shema could also be understand as the word understand. Because, for example, they didn't know that Yosef was hearing them, which is lashon of Havana. Yosef Pirusha ki Mevin Yosef, or Joseph understood. He says, let's say, Ish kach lekulu b'chad maskal askal. So v'nimsa shachakol nishkal b'mishkal echad. Everything is really weighed on one balance scale. Yahashmiya he bina, because hearing is bina, he shmiya, and bina is bina, and bina is hearing. Behind all the because it's because of this ability to be able to distinguish between sides. Bein ra tov b'kol hanekdas, between the good part and the bad part of the voice that's entering in b'shmiyas ha'oizen, whom mitzad moach habina. This all comes from the side of the moach habina, Moshe is boyer. So now he says, Messiah Rebbe Shimon. So Rebbe Shimon concludes like this: Bir sod oznei zer anpen. So he wants to go a little bit further, and he says, Milin elan lema'arechon demarin is yisehavin. So what does that mean? V'dibri sodus elu. Now he wants to say like this: these secrets that we're telling you about what the actual function of the ear is of zer anpen, shemarno ki nitno lehamin. Lehe Amer, to be spoken about. Lo nitan lehe Amer, it's not to be talked about. Only people who know Sod, Hanikroim Chachamim Shebechachamim, which are called the Chachamim of the Chachamim. The Mishmah is staklach of the Mendaki Haim Yishmohu Elach Sod, because they hear, which he said before means Havchana or also Havana. Ki hem yishmo elochasodos v'yistaklo v'yisbonato b'chem, so that they can look at the secrets and then they can understand them, distinguish them, come on the same way. And this way they understand the nature, the essence of the secrets. But those people who can understand them, that's good, but not to reveal them to other people. Only a person, this is Gemara over in Chagigi, says, only for a person can understand by himself. A kuvarn is bar lamala. It's already been explained previously. Ki soda ozen hula asav soda sel yonim. What does ozen actually do? It gathers together all of the soda sel yonim, l'shomrim l'bal yizgalu l'chutz, and to guard them so that they shouldn't be revealed outside. So basically, getting into that. Now, where is he going here? Tochazi says like this: Ksiv kasuv. Tefillah the Habakkuk Hanavi al Shaginos al Shaginos. So that's it. So it's a prayer for Habakkuk, and Shaginos is very similar to the word Shkagos. It's thick, I guess, but that's what it means. It means on the mistakes. So the pasuk, I guess, says Hashem Shemati Shema'acha. Hashem, I heard your Hashem. I heard your Shemacha, what you said, Shema, is your let's just give your racy. So he says, I heard what your news, I guess that's the right word, and I was afraid. Hi kra ishtamaydet. So we've studied this pasuk before. Pasuk then know the Pirusha, we understand Pshat. Kamosha Ba'ana Rabbi Saint Zal, the rabbis say, Shahabakuk Anavi Kara Tagar. So he says that he made a challenge al Midas Hadin al Yoin. About the judgment that's going on from the higher place, which we're assuming now refers to Zeranpin, and he prayed in regards to the mistakes that that were his responsibility. So he sought mercy on himself, because he was afraid. Shelo Ya'anosh, that he shouldn't be punished. So therefore, he said, I'm afraid. So that's the simple, he just brought us the simple pshat. He had made mistakes, and as a result of that, he was praying for mercy. Actually, he was praying in the direction of Zer Anpin, who's called Yud Kei Vav Kei. Now, I don't really like this language, personally. Because it makes it sound like Zer Anpin is an independent entity. Like you could pray, like a star. But here he says that you pray, I'm going to use the word towards Zer Anpin, or in regards to Zer Anpin, who's called Avaya. I'm sorry?
Very good.
Yeah. You go along with me on that?
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Hiyoski hadin nimshach min zer anpin, because what he's looking at is where the source of the extension of the din comes from. So he says that I heard your news. Al ozni on my ears. Al ozne zer anpin. This is talking about the ears particularly, because it's using these words of shmiya and so on and so forth. Kisham hu b'bechinas hashmiya, because that's where you find the aspect of hearing. V'hem ha'asuyim lahavchin b'kol ha'oile bein ra l'tov. And what are they set up for? What is going on in the ears of Zer Anpin is set up to be able to distinguish between what is good and what is bad. So therefore he says, I'm afraid. He's afraid he's afraid that he shouldn't be, and he's trying to do something to keep himself from being punished by the challenge, because he challenged that he was actually saying something possibly critical about the midas of Hashem Yisbarach, all of the niknasuch. These words came up. They went into the ears of Zer Anpin. Hanavi, Hakadosh, a person who was really a Kadosh. Shema as Eilu HaSodos, when he heard these Sodos. shel ozen zer anpin, which refer to the ear of zer anpin, v'achakach his binding, and then after that, he really had an understanding of them, or he was able to distinguish between them, v'yadim mechus and yanim, and really understand the depth of what they're really all about. V'koyim al tikuni ilan, and so they really refer v'amad al tikunim ha'elu shel ozen zer anpin. So he was standing, thinking about that particular place, that is the ear of zer anpin, v'hesig as omek hasodos, and from that place, as he was looking there and thinking about that as a kedusha, at v'hesig as omek hasodos, he reached the place of the depth of secrets, ksiv yurasi, and that's when it's right. Maybe that's what it means. I'm afraid. Oz kasa shemati shema'ach yurasi, when he said, I heard your news. In other words, he got to this place of secrets. I think that's what he means. And then he became frightened. Ipirusha shemati chavanti, he says that I heard, I understood, as shema'acha, I guess what you had heard, shehem sodas ozim, which is the secrets that are found in the ears. V'oz yurasi, and then once I heard those secrets, I got scared. Ki harega kol hadinim is ordered ayedecha ba'ozim, because all of the dinim, they're all really all aroused as a result of the ear, as we explained previously. Rebbe Shimon. So Rebbe Shimon says like this: Taman Yahushu l'dachla v'la'asbar. Actually, he pronounces la'asabar. The light's not so great anymore in here. L'saber b'kamei ki achein sham b'makom hashmiya. Yonis, there in the place of the upper hearing, which is the distinguishing that takes place from Bina. Roy Hulihiyos Yara Benishbach and Milafon, Yisbarach, a person should be broken in front of Hashem, and realize his lowness. Hi Bezer Anpin Itmar. Ki Hashmiya Ha'amurach B'posuk Zecha Mitberes Ba'ozen Zer Anpin. It's talking about the ear of Zer Anpin. Because from that ear, Nibshakis order the Sadinim, that's where you have the arousal of dinim. Mabchanas, that is Mabchanas, this is what distinguishes B'kol Ha'oiliv B'bein Ra the Tovuk Amor. Now, let me go over the fact that he said the word that in the Ozen, that being able to focus into that place is the places of secrets. Then he didn't talk about the secrets, but instead he talked about the dinim that are there that caused Habakkuk to be frightened. So is that the secret, or what he's going into the place of the origin of that, and that's the secrets? I don't know. Okay, let's go on a little bit more in that pasuk. Kad istakel. Habakkuk Hanavi tis boinin od, when he looks and examines more deeply. Bezecha be'inyan shall his order this dini zer anpin ayedecha be'oizen. So when he gets into that and he gets into more detail, v'yada bekoach hanavua, and he knew from the power of prophecy of his connection, she'efshel lahamtik dini zer anpin, that is possible to sweeten the dinim of Zer Anpin. And how does he do this? By having that illumination that's coming from Eric Anpin. Now, he understands the process. And so this goes back to what he's saying. When he said he's praying towards Zer Anpin, what he's praying is about Zer Anpin. This is about the ears of Zer Anpin and all the dinim that are there. But he understands from this, that from Nevuah, that can actually be sweetened as a result of, or the arrangement, or the relationship between Eric Anpin and Zer Anpin. So that even if the dinim are awakened, and he says, that is the power of the gevuros in the nose, shall Zer Anpin, besod charon af, which is the anger and the fierceness that's in the nose, after Lahamtik ayedecha beruach chayim, it's possible from I don't know what ruach chayim means here. Hanimshach menekev achoitim Eric Anpin. So it's possible that from the nose of Eric Anpin. Let me just go back to the top. You had all these gevuros in the nose of Zer Anpin, besod charon af. So he says that nasty charon af that's in the nose of Zer Anpin could be sweetened because he says there's a concept of the breath of life. Hanimshach menekev chotem Erik Anpin, which extends down from the nose of Erik Anpin. So he says chotem Erik Anpin. Right. Machasiv, what is written like this? He named Ma Kasev Behemshach Pasuk Sham. What continue on? What does the rest of the pasuk say? Shehiskil Habakkuk Anachli Hispalach Erik Anpin. He began to pray to a higher level. He has had the ability to be able to see to a higher level, and he sought it. Kadei laham ha'aros, in order to bring these radiances down min Erik Anpin al Zer Anpin onto Zer Anpin, sheyair, so that they should shine them, v'yamtek as a dinim shel Zer Anpin, and sweeten the dinim of Zer Anpin. So I'm thinking just in terms of the language that he uses that I was objecting to. He says that it seems like he means to focus on you can do this in your prayer. Is that you could focus on Erik Anpin and the whiteness of Erik Anpin, and hoping that praying to the, I guess you're praying to the Roma Ma'alos, that Erik Anpin should turn, or whatever is necessary, or Zer Anpin turn, in order to be able to receive this whiteness. V'amar Hashem shuhu Erik Anpin. So Yudke Vavke here means Erik Anpin. Pa'alacha, your deeds. Shuhu Zer Anpin. That is, Zer Anpin is the action figure here. Bekerev shanim chayehu. Hainu that chayehu. So chayehu, bring them life. So what's that all about? L'zer Anpin, bring life. He means once again that life force. Mikor ha'aros Erik Anpin hanikroim shanim kadmonios. Erik Anpin is known by the name of earlier years. The tam shekolocha beruach chayim, and bring down onto him a ruach chayim b'chotem Zer Anpin, from the nose of Zer Anpin, kedei lahamtek as dinov, in order to be able to sweeten his dinim. Now this is really talking about atek yamim. Here he means Zer Anpin, Erik Anpin rather. Ki av shachashem havaya harishon and nizka b'tachidus apostle havaya shemati shemachol, where he says havaya, speaking to Zer Anpin. I heard your news. What's the news? The news is a lot of dinim out there. But David b'Zer Anpin, that's talking about Zer Anpin. Aval Hashem havaya hasheni. But when it says Hashem twice, the second time, haniska b'chemshek apostle havaya. So it says again the word havaya is used. That is havaya pa'alacha, your deeds. Bekarev shanim chayechu, but in the, I don't know, bekarev shanim chayechu, from the midst of the years. I'm not sure what this pasuk means. I'll bring you life. Bedave be'erik Anpin, that's the one that really controls all the flow of the shefa. He said bedave be'erik Anpin hanikra atek yamim, was called by that name. V'chatam she'anim befarshim as the shem havaya. Havaya Hasheni. The reason why it's using this, it's explaining this name Havaya al Erik Anpin below al Zer Anpin, come up with the Chiddush pasuk. So he says that the second one refers to Erik Anpin, not Zer Anpin, like we had at the beginning. B'kol Asa the Yishtakach Hashem. Anytime you see these two words together, b'yud k, look how he spells yud, the k, Trey Zimni. So that two times. Ki klal hu b'yadenu, it's a general rule that we have in our hands. Should be called makom shenimsa b'pasuk echad. Anytime you find one pasuk, shnei shemus havaya, two names which are havaya kamol b'pasuk azel. Like for example, this pasuk, shekas of havaya shemati, where it says havaya shemati, and then it says havaya pa'alecho. Once again, you have two times havaya. B'pasuk echad behepsek tevos b'neihem. There are a few words in between them. Oh, b'alef dalad yud v'yud k. Or for example, there's another one. Alef dalad means adni, v'yud k means havaya. Oh, shenimtze b'pasuk echad shnei shemos adni havayas. You see these two names. Kagon masha kosa like this. Amart. I guess the Havaya Adni Ata. So Marta, I said, Yudke Vavke, and also says the other name Adni, Ata, you are. Chad lezer anpin, so one of them refers to zer anpin, v'chad l'chatika datikim, and the other one to Eric anpin. Oz misparish, and then explains like this. Sham, shame, excuse me, it explains like this: Hashem Echad the Zer Anpin. One of the names refers to Zer Anpin. Hashem Echad the Erik Anpin Hanikra Hatika Datikim, which is called the Ancient of Ancients ones. Vafal Gab the Kulhu Chad. I think I'm still thinking about that the same idea, the language that he uses. Let's go on. That right, Slichus. Okay, call two. Thank you very much for learning with me. Okay.